All right, let's get into it because what's going on with Kimmi Scott and Maurice isn't just uncomfortable. It's a whole case study in how reality TV can cross every imaginable line. At the center of it all is a woman battling for her life while the cameras keep rolling and a husband whose reactions have people questioning if they're watching a show or a PR campaign in real time. Kimmi Scott is no stranger to vulnerability. She's smart, accomplished, and one of the more grounded cast members on Love and Marriage Huntsville. But when she revealed her breast cancer diagnosis on the show, something shifted, not just in the tone of the series, but in the way fans began looking at her marriage. Because while Kimmi was being raw, open, and human, Maurice Scott was, well, kind of just there. No visible emotion, no cracking voice, no intimate moments that made people go, damn, he really loves her. What we got instead felt like a man keeping up appearances, not holding his wife down through hell. Now, we're not saying every man needs to cry on camera to prove he cares. Let's be real, this was deeper than being stoic. This was a pattern. Episode after episode, Kimmi would be in literal tears, terrified about her health, and Maurice would look like he was at a business seminar. Viewers caught on fast. Tweets popped up. Why does Maurice sound like he's reading off a script? This feels cold. And the kicker, that scene where Kimmi opens up about how KMO is wrecking, her physically and Marika's first reaction is to bring up their life. Bro, that was the moment the internet hit the brakes. You had fans going from sympathy to straight up suspicion. Was this just a man who didn't know how to express himself? Or was there something more calculated happening behind the scenes? Because here's where it gets sticky. Whispers started swirling that Maurice was using Kimmi's illness for image management. Think about it. Devoted husband by her side during the toughest time of her life. That's good press. That's sympathy points. That's a redemption arc if you've had rumors floating around about late-night meetings, alleged affairs, or emotionally checked-out behavior. And yes, people remembered those rumors, the ones that were already floating around before Kimmi's diagnosis. Suspicious DMs, unexplained absences, and a whole lot of speculation that Maurice was living one life off camera and another one for the fans. So when he suddenly leaned into the supportive spouse role, people weren't buying it. It didn't feel earned, it felt strategic. Then, just when you thought it couldn't get messier, behind scenes, leaks started surfacing. A production assistant allegedly spilled that Maurice once asked the crew how emotional he should act in a particular scene. And like, excuse me, you're treating your wife's cancer storyline like it's an audition. That revelation, true or not, sent fans into overdrive. The idea that any part of this could be manufactured, especially something this personal, this painful, it crossed a line most people didn't even think needed to be drawn. And here's the part that really messed people up. Kimmi kept filming. Through shamo, fatigue, emotional breakdown, she stayed in front of the camera. Some praised her strength, others were horrified. Why was she still on set when she could barely sit up? That's when more whispers started. Did she want to keep going? Or did someone convince her she had to? Because if Maurice was really behind the push to keep filming, if he really said the story was too good to pause, then we're not just talking about emotional distance anymore. We're talking about exploitation. Okay. And once that word entered the chat, the whole conversation changed. Maurice Scott wasn't just being watched, he was being dissected. Every clip, every conversation, every half smile was now under the microscope. And the deeper fans looked, the more detached he seemed. In one scene, Kimmi, barely holding herself together, tried to explain how chemotherapy had taken her to the edge. Emotionally, physically, spiritually, she was laying her soul bare. And Maurice, he shifted the conversation to parenting schedules. Not a hug, not even a moment of silence to hold the weight of what she was saying. It felt less like a husband in crisis and more like a guy juggling a calendar. Social media was on fire. Reddit threads analyzed his body language like a true crime case. TikToks broke down his micro-expressions. Facebook fan pages turned into virtual group therapy sessions. People shared their own stories of battling illness or supporting loved ones, and nearly all of them said the same thing. Something about Maurice didn't sit right. Some fans tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was overwhelmed. Maybe he just didn't know how to process it. But as more footage aired, that argument got harder to defend. What really flipped the narrative was the rumor that Kimmi had actually asked to take a break from filming and was denied. A supposed insider claimed Kimmi was tired both emotionally and physically and requested time off to focus on recovery. But according to this leak, Maurice and the network pushed back. They reportedly said the storyline was too powerful to lose. That was the word used. Powerful. Not tragic, not personal, powerful. Like it was a marketing angle. If that's true, then we're no longer just talking about a husband being emotionally unavailable. We're talking about a man treating his wife's trauma like it was part of the script. And it wasn't just that Maurice was busy during this time, like really busy. Promoting his legal seminars, dropping new podcast episodes, showing up on panels. And it was all happening while Kimmi was trying to keep her hair from falling out and make it through another round of chemo. That's when fans started connecting dots. Was he leveraging this storyline to boost his visibility? Was the show using Kimmi's battle to draw in viewers while Maurice used it to build his personal brand? That line of it all made people uneasy. Kimmi's lowest moments were airing right as Maurice's face started popping up more in the professional scene. Some said it was just coincidence. Others called it out as opportunistic. And then came the fan theories, wild ones, that Maurice was trying to secure solo relevance in case the marriage didn't last. That the emotional detachment was intentional, a way of soft launching his exit while still appearing loyal on camera. Some even believed he was trying to shape the narrative ahead, off something bigger, something we hadn't seen yet. And through it all, Kimmi remained quiet, graceful, still showing up, still filming, still trying to hold it together while the world around her buzzed with speculation. Fans noticed how tired she looked, not just physically, but emotionally, drained, like someone pushing through out of obligation, not choice. It was heartbreaking. And the deeper this story went, the more fans started questioning the entire premise of the show. Where's the line between reality and exploitation, between documenting someone's strength and capitalizing on their suffering? And more urgently, who gets to decide when that line has been crossed? Because it sure didn't seem like Kimmi had control anymore. The silence from Maurice Scott became deafening, while fans were crying out for answers, for accountability. He carried on like business as usual, posting motivational quotes, promoting episodes, and flashing smiles that now felt more hollow than ever. Not a single word to address the elephant in the room. Not even a vague acknowledgement of the growing outrage. And the longer he stayed quiet, the louder the backlash grew. Viewers weren't just frustrated, they were furious. People who had followed Kimmi and Maurice's journey from the beginning were now questioning whether they ever really knew the couple at all. Was Maurice always this detached and the cameras just hid it well? Or had something shifted once the opportunity for attention became too tempting to resist? Either way, fans felt betrayed. This wasn't the kind of story they signed up to watch. Kimmi, on the other hand, held her dignity like a shield. Despite everything, she stayed focused on her healing, her family, and the people who truly supported her. She didn't clap back. She didn't feed into the noise. But every once in a while, she'd share a health update, quiet thank you to those who prayed for her, or a heartfelt message about staying strong. And that only made fans rally around her harder. They weren't just supporting a reality star anymore. They were backing a woman who, even in her most vulnerable moments, carried herself with grace that the cameras couldn't manipulate. But the damage was done. The illusion was shattered. Viewers started rewatching older episodes with fresh eyes. Picking apart every moment, Maurice seemed emotionally checked out or subtly dismissive. His past behavior now looked less like awkward husband moments and more like a consistent pattern of self-interest masked as leadership. Evan former fans who had once defended him began pulling back. Some called him out, others stopped watching altogether. The rest of the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast didn't exactly stay quiet either. Melody Holt threw a jab without naming names, posting a cryptic Instagram story about using someone's lowest moments for attention. Morrow, never one to miss a shady opportunity, dropped a meme about men who loved the mirror more than the marriage. The tension wasn't just on screen anymore. It was bleeding into real life. Own the network behind the show faced pressure, too. Fans demanded they take responsibility for allowing Kimmi's pain to be turned into plot point. Some asked for a public apology.